long songs, it's part of the general image of progressive rock that we do these long songs. In fact, a lot of the music press and almost acting indignance that we're even offering them a piece of music that's 20 minutes long to actually entertain them with. And although they protest, and a lot of people think that's an enormous amount of time, as a matter of fact, if you think about it, it's the same length as an edition of Scooby-Doo, which is kind of like not one of the greatest long things you can imagine, really, one episode of Scooby-Doo. And it's basically the fact that the long songs that were developed by progressive rock bands are more of a cinematic thing. And the fact is that most of them, certainly the ones I try to do, are made up of a whole series of pieces of music. And it's arguable that if you listen to, for example, Close to the Edge by Yes or Foxtrot by Genesis, and Supper's Ready, of course, being the track there, that there's as much musical variety, if not more variety, in one song on one of those records than there is, for example, on a Green Day album, or many different other kinds of artists. And consequently, I feel no shame in presenting something that's cinematic, develops a story, has lots of variety in it and lots of changing moods. And that's why we do it, really.
Well, I've never seen it before on this stretch.
Lyrically, we've done something which I've been wanting to do for a while, and this is because a lot of my songs are stories, and of course, with them being true stories about people who are alive, some stories which include me, situations change and things move on. And for example, one of the stories that I've told in the past has been about Ernest, an airman in the Second World War, and he died just last year, and somehow I wanted to finish that part of the story off. And I've had two songs in the band's history about my children, and their situation has changed a great deal. That was in Darkest Dreams and A Place in the Queue, and their situation has changed completely, and I kind of wanted to bring the audience a bit more up to date with that. Then, of course, my own situation has changed. And then there was the stockbroker who was in a song called The Winning Game on our second record, and I wanted to bring that up to date, particularly in light with the way that the economy is changing and the way people are finding their lives changing at both ends of the wealth spectrum. So tried this interesting idea, which I think has worked, and I really hope it's worked to the audience, is that I've written a whole 20-minute long song, which is short chapters, bringing you up to date on the various different characters I've written about before. So that's called Where Are They Now? Fairly obvious title. As well as that, on the album, there's a song about an experience I had in Paris, realizing that amongst the wealth and the amazing landmarks and romance of Paris, that there's a very different world of the homeless people. Paris has a big homeless problem, and I ran into it personally whilst I was doing interviews for the last album at an interview session in Paris. So I wanted to make this song about it, and of course, writing about a big city like Paris, it was inevitable that I would call it Perdu à Paris, which of course is Lost in Paris, which follows on from the Lost in London series that I've already written.
So how far did you go? Did you get about this distance?
A lot of the songs that I write have got references to where I live or where I've been brought up and spent a lot of my life, which is Yorkshire. very misunderstood part of the world sometimes. A lot of people down south and in other parts of the world think it's a rather grim and industrial area. Well, right at this moment, I'm, as you can probably see, somewhat erratically driving a canal longboat through the middle of totally rural central Yorkshire. And it's a beautiful place. Perhaps not the nicest day of the year, but it's very close to my heart is this place. I'm no longer actually living here at the moment. I live in another county in England called Cheshire, but that's very similar. It's part of the same geographical kind of format, geological. The Pennine Hills, which run down like all the backbone of England. And as many of you know, I went and lived in France for quite some time. It's a very beautiful place. But I'm afraid this place has very strong ties and it pulls you back. And I can't really stop referencing my own experiences of Yorkshire in the songs I write. Which is unusual because like it's not folk music we're playing or anything. But I guess I just want to put something of where I came from into the songs. Well, today I am 50 years old, as you can probably see by all that bunting behind me.
That's just what I said.
So apparently, when you're 50 years old, you need to go on a canal, and that's apparently what I'm doing.